In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness, I bear witness. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness, I bear witness. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness, I bear witness, I bear witness.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm your host, Student Minister Randy Muhammad. Welcome to the all-new I Bear Witness podcast show. This show is dedicated to proving the efficacy of the life-giving teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, as taught by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam. Brothers and sisters, we know that our people are in crisis. We're suffering a justice crisis. We're suffering an economic crisis. We're suffering an education crisis. We're suffering a health crisis. And we believe that the life-giving teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is the solution to many of our problems. And so we want to make ourselves available to you to share with you what we have been taught that can be of aid and an assistant. I'm excited today. We will be having our big brother, Brother Captain Dennis Emeritus, who is the founder of the Peacekeepers Global Initiative. Brother Captain Dennis is a former regional captain of the mighty FOI of the Eastern region, and he also served on the security team for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. He is now known for spreading out peace and these peacekeepers throughout all over America and the world. So I'm honored today to bring on and have with us my big brother, Captain Dennis Muhammad. So Captain Dennis Muhammad, welcome to the I Bear Witness podcast show. How you feeling this evening, my brother?
Brother Minister, first and foremost, giving honor and praise to God, who's there in my life, giving me another opportunity to correct yesterday's mistakes. To answer your question, I'm feeling great, dear brother.
All praises due to Allah. Well, thank you, brother, for taking time out of your very busy schedule to spend a little bit of time with me so that we can talk about, some of the current events that's been going on. We know that this has been a tumultuous week with the continued onslaught of the murder of our people at the hand of law enforcement. We know that we are fighting a war, as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has taught us, that we are fighting a war on two fronts. On the one front, we're dealing with racist police and vigilante that continue to kill our people unabated. And on the other side, we have our own people that are continuing with the fratricide in our own community, that we're killing each other. So I wanted to have a conversation with you because you are a brother that is not just, someone that likes to complain about the problem, but you about the action. And you have developed a program that is very beneficial and helpful in reducing the violence in the community. So my first question to you, my brother, for our audience that, may not know, Brother Captain, can you talk about a little bit about the Peacekeepers Initiative and how the idea of the Peacekeepers came into your mind, and what was your vision for the Peacekeepers?
Well, thank you so much. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the most merciful God, we thank him for coming to us in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And we thank the exalted Christ, who we refer to as Mahdi, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, the eternal leader of the Nation of Islam. And we thank the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who we see now today in our presence as God's voice, God's representative. Well, matter of fact, we look at him as the Messiah. I want to first greet you all in your radio and your television listening audience in the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum. And for those of you who did not know, I did not cuss you out in no foreign tongue. I just said peace be unto you. Well, dear brother, God gave me the spirit about 15 years ago to start the Peacekeepers Global Initiative. It was really, dear brother, out of the fact that I have been trained law enforcement for over 30 years. I have been given sensitivity training, racial profile training, cultural diversity training, and de-escalation training to law enforcement. And I had got frustrated there, brother, because I realized that I was going and trying to change a culture.
Hmm.
And my attitude was, well, if I can't change them from beating our people and knocking our people in the head, at least let me train black folks how to keep their head out the way.
Yes, sir.
So I started the Peacekeepers because I wanted to get brothers and sisters who were not members of the Nation of Islam actively involved in taking a proactive approach to going into our own community and feel that our very presence would be a deterrent to crime and violence. Now, the reason, brother minister, that I started the Peacekeepers and called it the Peacekeepers is because one day I was looking at the television and I was looking at the United Nations.
Yes, sir.
And the United Nations had every nation that was a member of the United Nations had a peacekeeping force.
Mm.
So the British had the British peacekeepers, but they all had the color blue. Every country had a peacekeeping force, and they all wore the same color, the color blue. But on their helmet was the flag of their country. So the United States have a peacekeeping force. London, the Brits have a peacekeeping force. The Pakistani have a peacekeeping force. And the purpose of the peacekeeping force is that they will go in, look at this, brother minister, they will go into a country that's at civil war with itself.
Right.
And the only role that they would play is to try to make sure that the people who are innocent don't become victims in this civil war and maintain peace, now look here,
Come on.
until the problem is resolved. They're not able to get involved in the war. They're not there for a war. They're there as peacekeepers to help to make sure innocent people don't get killed in the process.
Yes,
So
sir.
I said, brother minister, I said, well, that sound like the black community.
Mm.
We are at civil war. When you're at civil war, that meaning you're fighting against yourself. And black folks is fighting black folks.
That's right.
But the problem that we have, brother minister, is that we're not united in organizations in the community. So I said to myself, wow, we can have AME peacekeepers, Nation of Islam peacekeepers, NAACP peacekeepers.
Right.
And I begin to start seeing that we can make peacekeepers of every organization in our community. And guess what? I chose the color orange.
Come on now.
And the color orange meaning all of us would wear that color orange as peacekeepers. And we would go into our community, look here, brother minister, and we would maintain and keep peace and order until the beef that we got with each other is resolved.
Yes,
And
sir.
so that's why I got the name Peacekeepers. And that was 15 years ago.
Yes.
And now we have 32 chapters. 90% of the Peacekeepers are not members of the Nation of Islam.
And that's key, brother Cap. I want to touch on that because that's very key and instrumental. You mentioned the idea, again, now you a nation, man. You've been in the nation, how long you been in the nation now, bro, Cap?
I've been in the nation, brother minister, for 48 years.
48 years, man. That's longer than I've been around. That's longer than I've been alive, bro, Cap. All praises due to Allah. So, bro, Cap been in the nation pretty much his entire life, adult life, and longer than most of us have been alive. And he has served as a laborer, as a captain, as a security man, as a soldier. But you specifically had the idea and the thought in mind to organize our brothers that are not in the Nation of Islam under this initiative to be peacekeepers. And that's very, very important. And I want to stress that to our listening audience, because this the violence in our community is not something that can be handled by one particular group by itself. And I love that analogy that you gave at looking at the United Nations, because every country sends peacekeepers. That's a beautiful beautiful model that you have there. How do we encourage the other organizations and the churches, and how do we, what would you say? And I want you to speak specifically to to the listening audience here in Boston, but as you know, social media is global and international. So there's a part of the message that is international and global, but specifically, what would you say to the leadership, to the preachers and the different community organizations with regards to getting involved with the peacekeepers?
Well, let me give you a great story. I was in London, England, and a lady by name G. Bernard, she was a black member of Parliament. And she told me this Jamaican proverb. Pretty much everybody using it around the country now. But I remember her telling me. And she said it in a beautiful, and she's not with us no longer. May God be pleased with our sister. But she said it in her beautiful Jamaican voice / Britain voice. And if you ever heard somebody speak Jamaican with a British slang, that is something to listen to. But she said to me, she said, Brother Captain, there's a Jamaican proverb about a little boy that fell in the well. And she said, everybody of the village came with a rope to help him out. But everybody's rope falling short and getting the young man out the well.
Right.
After about 10 attempts, everybody's rope was too short. The young boy hollered up the well and says, why don't y'all tie y'all ropes together? Well, that's our community.
Yes, sir.
Everybody wants to help and get our young people on the path of righteousness. Everybody want to help our young people. Everybody want to help to stop the gun violence. But everybody's rope, everybody's methodology, we have all fallen short, brother minister. Yes, even we in the nation, we have fallen short.
Go ahead.
Well, now it's time for every black organization, black religious institution, let us tie our ropes together.
Yes, sir.
Let us tie our ropes together that way we may be successful in getting our young people out this condition. Now, on that point, brother minister, what makes the peacekeepers so attractive is that we eliminate politics, we eliminate religion, we eliminate race, we eliminate one's social status, we eliminate those things that keep us divided from each other. We found out, brother minister, that peace is the common denominator that we all want.
That's
Christian want peace, Muslims want peace. Poor people want peace, rich people want peace. White folks want peace, black folks want peace. We found peace is the common denominator. So when we ask everybody to be a peacekeeper, that everybody, brother minister, we all want peace in the world. I don't think you'll find a human being that do it. If you ask them and go on the street, wouldn't you like to see peace in the world? They say, well, yes.
Of course.
Everybody, brother minister, would love to see peace in their home.
Yes,
Everybody
sir.
wants to see peace in their
Absolutely.
home. Everybody wants to see peace in our community.
That's
But
right.
one thing everybody is on the same page with, all of us, brother minister, want a peace of mind.
Mm.
And when we're out there doing what God wants us to do, and that is to be present for peace. For the Bible said, blessed are the peacemakers,
Yes,
for
sir.
they are called the
The
children
children of
of
God.
God. So we
Whoa.
doing what God wants to do. And when we go out and make peace with our people, so the minister said to me, he said, brother, I wish you would have named your organization the Peacemakers,
Right.
because you can't keep what you ain't made yet. Oh,
That's
was such a
right.
wise man. I said,
Mm.
well,
Come on
brother
now.
minister, I said, you the peacemaker, not
Come
me.
on.
I said, brother minister, you make the peace, and brother Dennis will bring an army to keep the peace that you made.
Go
And
ahead.
he smiled. Yes, brother, the church should be peacemakers.
Yes.
Every church should be peace. The mosque, brother minister, should be
Mm-hmm.
peacemakers. Huh?
Yes. Well, you
The
know that
African, go ahead.
yeah, you right on it. My next question to you was going to be to talk about how does your work with the Peacekeepers, how does that support, contribute, work with um, the call that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan made on 10-10-15. He called for 10,000 fearless peacemakers. Now you already was out there with the peacekeepers, and now the minister's calling for 10,000 fearless peacemakers that can go into the community and stand between the gangs and the guns and make our community safe and decent places to live. How does your organization and your work, how does it complement the minister's call for the peace, for the 10,000 fearless peacemakers?
Oh, that's a beautiful question. But you have to not leave out that he said, and bring them to the table of conflict resolution,
That's right.
right? Now, when
That's
you
right.
say conflict resolution, that's a peacemaker, because you're now bringing parties who's got a beef, and now you're trying to make peace with these
Right.
parties. Well, they'll come together, the Crips and the Bloods, you got them in the same room. They'll say to you, Minister Randy, all right, we're resolving our beef. The Crips goes across the table and shake the Blood's hand. They just made peace. Well, you have to have something to come behind that and enforce the peace that you just made, so that we can keep the peace that you just made, because the enemy don't want peace.
That's right.
So soon as they leave the room of conflict resolution, they made peace. The enemy's on the outside the door. And sometimes, brother minister, the enemy is in that game. I have seen situations where the brothers
Yes, sir.
over the games make peace with the leaders, but then you got somebody in the game, he don't want peace.
Right. Right.
So he want to break the peace that was just made. So we have to come and make sure they keep the peace that they just made. So how we compliment the peacemakers is that as you go through the community, and I love y'all, man, I see you on Facebook, brothers with the
Come on now.
orange, the 10,000 fearless peacemakers, and y'all making peace. Then here we come. If we got peacekeepers there, then the peacekeepers join with you and make sure that right after you get through with making your peace, we're standing there 1 hour a day with you to guarantee that peace stays there. So, brother, there's no conflict. We
That's right.
recognize our role, and we recognize the 10,000 fearless is the minister's initiative. The
Yes.
peacemakers is the minister's initiative.
Go
But the
ahead.
peacekeepers is Captain Dennis's initiative.
Yes,
And
sir.
I was born to make sure that any peace we make, I come with the army of
Mm.
peacekeepers.
Yes,
We
sir.
out there 1 hour, like you are out there. We say, our slogan, 1 hour doing something better than 24 hours doing nothing.
Yes,
We
sir.
believe. Now, we don't want to just be out there for 1 hour, to be honest with you. We want to
That's
be out
right.
there 24/7.
That,
That's the ultimate goal.
that's the goal.
But we believe, brother minister, where peace is present, violence is absent. How do you know, brother Dennis? Man, every time we stand on the corner for that 1 hour, it has not been in 15 years. One incident
That's right.
in 15, not one in all the
Go ahead.
32 cities where you see something happen while we was out there and we was present for peace. Not under our watch.
Right,
So
right.
I can't guarantee you if we out there for 60 minutes, I can't tell you them niggas ain't acting the fool in 61 minutes. All I can guarantee you for 60 minutes they was at peace. Now after 60 minutes, I'm not responsible for. All I
Yes,
can
sir.
say is while we was out there, it didn't
That's
happen.
right.
That's
That's
all.
right. Yes, sir. Thank you, brother. And I'll add on to that because when the minister made the call for the 10,000 field peacemakers, and his call wasn't just for the FOI. The FOI is the fruit of Islam, is the name given to the military training of the men that belong to Islam in North America. So we already militant. This is the way we are. We were made fearless. When you become a Muslim, we fear nothing but Allah, right? So the call for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for 10,000 fearless peacemakers wasn't just a call for the Muslim members of the Nation of Islam. Remember, this was at the 20th anniversary of the Million Man March. And the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has always been inclusive of all of our organizations, right? The Million Man March was not just about the Nation of Islam. And so when he made that call, Brother Captain Dennis, and one of the things that the minister would always say, even when he was talking about developing the 9 ministries, and one of the ministries is the Ministry of Defense. And he would always say that we got to organize our street organizations, our gangs that are out there in the streets that are now terrorizing our community. But we have to turn that around so that they can be the protecting force of our community. So I seen that meshing the 10,000 fearless peacemakers as an initiative to get not just a call to action for the FOI, though it is that, but also for us to work with our people in the streets. And so when I seen that, I thought of you and the work that you was doing. And so the way I see your work complementing, it always complemented the minister, because obviously, man, you've been in the nation, what'd you say, 48 years, anything that come out your mouth or mine is from the minister,
That's
how
right.
due to Allah.
Right.
But, I saw fit to reach out to you because you put together a beautiful program. I love the way you laid out the Peacekeepers in the way that you have these training units. Even the fact that we're out there in the orange and everything has a meaning, and the meaning, all of it is about promoting peace, because you told us and you taught us that there ain't no gang out there that's banging behind the orange, right? And I love what you said about that orange being the sign when you pull up on a construction site, which shows that there's some construction taking place, and our community is under construction when the peacekeepers and the peacemakers are present. But we are trying to construct a community and a culture of peace. And so that's how I seen it meshing. And I thank you for coming. We reached out to you after 10-10-15, and you came and offered the beautiful training units that I do want to get into in a minute, but I'll come back to that because I want to talk now, Brother Captain. I want to pivot to the current events and what has been happening. I just want to get, what are your thoughts on the continued murder of our people at the hand of law enforcement and white vigilantes?
Well, we're looking right now at the news. It may be a hotbed in Elizabeth, North Carolina. Again, there's a frustration with us. George Floyd having been buried, and we've already had 7 after his incident. One
It's up to 7
in the
now?
very city, 7. Wow. And so now here we are. We're looking like, wow, what is it, man? I heard the attorney says, it's almost one a week, almost one a week. I experienced right down the street from me, which had hit national news. Everybody's seen this. Is one block from me, literally one block. Matter of fact, if I was not so focused on listening for the verdict, she was killed 15 minutes before the verdict. And if I wasn't so focused on hearing the verdict, I would have heard the gunshots from that police officer's gun that took the life of Sister Makia, took the life of my sister. And my wife came in from work, and she said, man, something must have happened right down there. I'm not paying attention. I didn't know they just killed our sister. It wasn't until later on I get a text, and I can hear them from my house, no justice, no peace. I said, oh, snap. She said, yeah, it's right down the corner. So I got suited and booted in my orange Peacekeeper, and I got a hold of my couple of Peacekeepers because I was not going to let something like this happen on my doorstep. And I don't get involved. And when we looking at what happened, we wasn't there as the Nation of Islam and notice and look in any way dealing with George Floyd. And it's a reason for that. But I was not going to not let this happen. I wasn't going to be a part. So when I went down there, dear minister, it was so rowdy. The crowd was so hyped because they did not see the video yet. Now, the police that was standing around, now where the sister was murdered, I'm getting bits of information. I went live. I'm getting bits of information. Yeah, they shot her 4 times, brother. All she had was a knife. They came to her. I mean, when black folks tell the story. Right. Now, I don't think these niggas lying. I said, dang, why would they kill her sister? Shoot her 4 times. A 15-year-old. She was 15 at the time, 1916. But I noticed, brother minister, that the police would stay around this crowd. Captain D, we got Buck. You want to get the mic? No, but I'm not trying to get on the mic. So right. I'm looking at the brother on the mic. He got the crowd hyped. He goes and get into a police officer's face. And the way he got in his face, I said to myself, oh man, this getting ready to go south. And come on. I can't watch our people get slaughtered because you can see the police, if that brother would have spit in that police officer's face, and that's looked like we was getting ready to go with it, he wouldn't have took it to police officer. It would have been crazy. All right. So I use all my law enforcement skills. I go and I see 2 police officers at the entrance of the street. They blocked the street off. And I said, I had a peacekeeper with me. I said, sir, I need you to call your sergeant. I said, is there a sergeant? He said, sergeant. I said, I need you to call your sergeant. He said, I had to wait a car. I said, use your razor. No, he's over there. If you want to go in, he wanted me to walk over to the sergeant. I said, my friend, I'm going to ask you again, could you please call your sergeant? So he, I can't. He's over there. Now, number one, I did not want my people see me talking to that sergeant. All right? Right. So I said, have him come to me. Now I know he got that's what you do. You got a unit. Somebody asks the sergeant jump, you get the sergeant. Right. So, because the work that we doing traveling with the minister, we have certain credentials, and I showed my credentials. When I showed my credentials, now he gets the sergeant on the unit. Here come the sergeant. I said, how you doing, Sarge? I introduced myself. I said, I train law enforcement. That's what I do. I said, one of the training I give you guys, that's what I said, is your CIT training. I said, did you take CIT training? Now, CIT is crisis intervention training. All law enforcement takes it, or they've been recently taking it. And in that CIT training, brother minister, is de-escalation training. It teaches them how to de-escalate a situation. Right. But he had a situation with escalating, right? So I say to the sergeant, I said, in your training, Sarge, you're supposed to remove the stimulus. I said, the stimulus in this time is your guys. Back your guys out. Sarge, remove your guys out of the eye of those that's upset. Have them hide behind a tree. Tell them, get in, Sarge, back them out, get them out the view of the people. I said, the people are venting. They upset. But as long as your guys standing there, they're going to come at them. And I said, and just give them time. They eventually were going about their business.
Right.
Do you know that sergeant said, yes, sir? And that's exactly what he did.
Praise be to Allah.
And while I was standing there with the two rank and file cops, I wanted to test out what I already knew. I asked the one cop, how long you been on the department? 6 years. The female just come to the academy. I said, well, you see those people that's out there? I said, those people are customers. You have to start seeing that you work for us. I'm a taxpayer. I said, see that uniform you got on? I bought that. I said, you see that body cam? We paid $20 million to get y'all that body. Who you think paid for it? Taxpayers. Right. I said, so I understand how you feel. But until that blue wall is out, he said, oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry, we don't have no blue wall inside. That don't exist. I said, this is not going here. That don't exist. I said, you trying to tell me that the blue wall inside don't exist? No, that's 20. We don't have that no more. I said, on CNN News today, sir, they had former police chief Charles Ramsey, sir, and they had him talk about the verdict.
Right.
The guilty verdict that came in on these officers. Now, Charles Ramsey was the former police chief, sir, of D.C., and he was the former police commissioner of Philadelphia, sir. And do you know what he said today, sir? He said today, now this is the beginning of the blue wall of silence coming down. That's what he said today, sir. And then he said, law enforcement has a dark side to it. We must shine the light on the dark side of law enforcement. That's what he said. I really wish I was on there, brother minister, to ask Ramsey. Yes, did you shine the light on the dark side of law enforcement when you was the chief in D.C.? Did you shine a light on the dark side of law enforcement in Philly? No, you didn't. Because you was afraid of the blue wall of silence.
That's right.
So I said, now if the chief said that, so who are you? So then I asked him this very important question. Do you believe that police needs, do you believe that y'all, I said y'all, do you believe that y'all need police reform? I asked the female cop. She said no. And then she went to say, but. And when she went to say, but, he looked at her and gave her a look. Keep your damn mouth shut.
Not say nothing.
You damn do-gooder. I get back to the precinct and I say, Sally, run her mouth. Tell the man everything. So I knew that was the blue wall of silence.
That was it right there.
Soon as you gave her that look, she shut up.
That's right.
Now, I'm saying this to your audience. All around the country to this day.
Yes.
The rank and file police officers do not believe they need police reform. The only ones that's asking for police reform is the politicians. The only reason why the chief is going along with it, he don't want to lose his job with the mayor in the city. Black folks is asking for it. Biden is asking for it. But the rank and file cop, he don't believe he needs police reform. Matter of fact, brother minister, his attitude is, I'm going to tell you who need to be reformed. It's you Negroes. That's who need the training. Y'all need to reform. Y'all need to teach your people how to comply when we tell you to do what we tell you to do. You need to train your people to respect our authority. So when we tell you something, you don't resist. Because most of the reason why all of them are killed because they didn't comply and they resisted. This is the rank and file sick mindset. So how are we going to change them, brother? How are we going to focus our mind thinking they're going to get police reform and they're going to reject the training?
That's right.
And you know why there's a rise in crime and violence in our community?
Come on.
Because they already had quit on us. They're not coming in the hood no more. You know what one of the police officers said to me? He said, you know what they're doing now, Captain? I said, what they doing? He said, they're getting in the bat cave. I said, bro, what's the bat cave? That's when the cruiser pulls up into a dark, quiet area.
Right.
And he gets on his phone when he watches Netflix and movies.
And they just let the madness happen in our community.
That's it. And when they hear, we need a so-and-so shooting so-and-so, he'd be like, yeah, all right. And later on, he'll respond to it. Now listen, not all cops. But because of the ones that is controlled by a powerful union and powerful FOP, the real good cop, he don't say nothing.
That's right. Well, like you gave a good example. The sister wanted to say something, and the other guy look at her like, you know, they treat it like they're a gang. And if you talk against them, it's like the gang rules, man. You can't be speaking against the gang to anybody else, you know. So we know that is, in fact, a reality that has to be dealt with, you know. Brother Cap, you mentioned something that I want to touch on real quick, you know, and I mean we can go deep into it. So I gotta catch myself because I really don't want to go too deep into it, not tonight. But when you said, you know, you didn't see. And you know, and not, people have asked, you know, the Nation of Islam is not out there. You don't see us protesting, right? And you said that's for a reason, and it is right. We not out there. And I want to make 2 points. One is that the Peacekeepers, right, the 10,000 fearless Peacekeepers, we are not a group of protesters, right? And the FOI is not a group of protesters. We don't protest, you know. Now I'm speaking for the FOI on behalf of the FOI, not necessarily the peacekeepers or the peacemakers, but you know, protesting is, you know, we look at what is the reason for protesting, right? It is to register your frustration, your disappointment, but partly is you're appealing to the humanity in people, right? Hoping that they would change. So we're out there trying to show them that Black Lives Matter. You know, but we know that is an exercise in futility because there's no humanity in the people that we are pleading for humanity. They're not going to change. We've been here for 466 years, and this killing of our people has happened unabated. This is not new. This has been going on day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, decade after decade. And all we've been doing is trying to appeal to the white man, to those in power, to the government, to do justice by us. Well, after 466 years of them showing and demonstrating an inability to do justice by us, we look foolish. We look insane, continuing to do the same thing, looking for a different result. So rather than trying to protest to change the heart of the oppressor, to get him to do justice by us, we spend our time in our hood working on changing our people's condition, that we can learn to come together in unity and love one another and stop killing one another and unite with ourselves and do something for ourselves to make our community a safe and decent place to live. So I'll tell folks, our whole way of life is a protest. See, when I joined the Nation of Islam, as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, when I received my ex, that was my divorce papers from the white man. So we done gave back his name. That's a form of protest. We done gave him back his white God. We done gave him back his religion, right? We done gave him back his flag. and we're busy engaging and working to produce our own reality. So our whole very way of life is a protest, but we don't need to be out there with our hands up, don't shoot, antagonizing a beast that doesn't have no humanity. All we're doing is like being sheep coming before the shear coming for the slaughter.
That's right. But just to add, Brother Menace, you got me want to apply for my ex again after that good preaching there, boy. I'm telling you, listen, man, let me say this to add to what you're saying. Us trying to go out there and change that culture.
That's right.
Is the story that many of us heard about the snake that wanted to cross the water on the doggone turtle's back. The snake said, please, Mr. Turtle, take me across. The turtle said, no, Mr. Snake. So what? So you can stick your fangs in me? He said, look at here, Mr. Turtle. What sense would that make? I'm in the water and I stick my fangs in you. You drown and I drown. That don't make no sense. So the turtle thought about it. All right, get on back. Get on top. So halfway across the water, the turtle felt his sting. Bam! The snake just stuck his fangs in the turtle's neck. And the turtle turned around and looked at him and says, why? Why? And then the snake said, I can't help myself. It's my nature. That is the nature and the culture of law enforcement and white people. It started there in Massachusetts, in Boston.
Yeah.
Among the Irish. They were slave catchers, slave chasers. Law enforcement was never designed to protect and serve us. Law enforcement was designed to occupy and contain us. So no matter how much we give them reform, they can't help themselves.
Right.
So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, can the devil be reformed? Many try.
That's right.
So if we know that, this is the knowledge we in the nation know. So when our brothers asked us to go out there and be with them, we already know it's useless.
Yes, sir.
We don't want to tell them that. But they seem to have to come. I remember, look here, Brother Minister. I remember the minister said these words to all of the black organizations that all we try to say, the nation, they'll never be with us. So the minister said, I'm going to walk with y'all on this. I'm going to walk with y'all in the political arena. I'm going to invite us to the vote. If that's what, I'm going to do that. I'm going to ask the Muslims to do that.
Come on.
I'm going to go up in the church. I'm going to do this. The minister says, you won't charge me with not being a part of this community. He said, but after you all played y'all's card, I got in my back hip pocket the trump card.
Come on now.
And you know, if you ever played spades or bid with, and you got the big joker, those who looking, they trying to see who got the big joker. Because you can have a run until my man play that big joker. And why they call it, you can stop a Boston. Why they call it a Boston and bid with? I'm going to Boston. See, the bottom line, dear brother, is this. We love our people. God knows.
Right.
The Nation of Islam has been proactive for 91 years.
Come on now.
91 years we've been proactive. We're not reactive. I'm sorry. We don't have no more in the black community, black leaders, brother minister. We have crisis managers. They're not black, they're crisis managers.
That's right.
The only time you see them when there's a crisis and they're trying to manage it.
But Cat.
The Honorable, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish that point.
The Honorable Minister Farrakhan said these words A true leader is one who take you to God and then leave you there.
That's right. So, but Cat, what I just wanted to do, we do have people that are watching on the live, and I want to put up our number. If folks want to call in, if you have a question, just give us a call, and you'll be able to ask your question. But thank you. I wanted to come back to another point, and then I'll leave it alone. But brothers and sisters, we've been one of the other points of protest. People say, well, protesting, we protesting to change the laws. And we've done that, right? But changing the laws, and listen to this perspective, has not really changed the reality for our people. We can go all the way back to 1955 when they murdered Emmett Till cold-bloodedly, right? Under the false charges that he whistled at a white woman. They went into that man's house and kidnapped him in broad daylight. They committed a home invasion and a kidnapping. They took our young brother and murdered him, right? And his mother, when they found the body, his face, they beat him so much. They shot him in the face. They cut his ear off. He was unrecognizable, and the mother had an open casket because she wanted the world to see what they did to her baby. Now that, and then we had Rosa Parks, who refused to get up and give up her seat. Those type of events sparked the civil rights movement. And we seen our people marching and doing the sittings and getting spat upon and getting rocks thrown at their head and getting fire hose and getting put in jail. And some of our leaders were assassinated in this protest time, trying to change the laws, public accommodation, right? And so after about 10 years, we finally get the laws to change, right? The public accommodations bill and the civil rights bill, right? Which came in, I think, around 64, 65. 10 years of us protesting to change the laws. Okay, we changed the laws. Now, once the laws were changed, I remember in the early 80s when I was going to elementary school up here in Boston, Brother Captain, I was still having to go when we was going into our elementary school, which was in South Boston, which was the white neighborhood in Boston, which was racist, right? We had to go to school under a police escort, and they still didn't want us in their school. So you can change the laws, but the laws don't change the nature and the character of a people. It doesn't change how they feel about you. And so here we are, right? 60 something years later, and black men are still being accosted for walking in neighborhoods by white men. We have brothers that Amadou Aubrey, who was jogging in the neighborhood and he get gunned down by white vigilantes, right? So we changed the law. I remember
the lieutenant of the military,
a military man that assaulted a brother just for walking in his neighborhood, right? And I remember, and I'll say this: I remember after Trayvon Martin and Mike Brown, a lot of people was up in arms and protesting to get cameras on every police officer's vest. We got cameras; they still killing us. So we're fighting and protesting to change the laws, but our reality is the same. And the last analogy I'll give is this, Brother Captain. In 1968, after they assassinated Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the president ordered a study. They called it the Kerner Commission.
That's right.
To ascertain what was the root of the uprisings in the black community. And they came back and said that the reason for the uprisings was due to injustice and structural racism. And they suggested some actions that the government should take to mitigate that reality. They didn't do it. 50 years later, in 2018, they conducted the same study and found out that the same thing applies today. That and what the Kerner Commission discovered in 68 was that there was two Americas, separate and unequal, one black and one white. They came back 50 years later, and there's still two Americas, separate and unequal, one black and one white. And we're still dealing with what? Injustice and structural racism. So if nothing has changed in over 50 years, then we have to look at ourselves, brothers and sisters, and say that we have to do something different. And I'll bring it back to you, Captain Dennis. That trump card that the minister had in his pocket is separation or death. But in the meantime, we have to work in our communities to make them safe and decent places. So, Brother Captain, speak about, we was talking about law enforcement. I want to pivot back now to the minister saying we're fighting a war on two fronts. One is dealing with the racists, but the other is stopping us from killing us. Can you speak to that? Because even when we look at this case with our young sister, Makia Bryant, she, the police were called, but this was an incident that was sisters fighting. Talk about how do we deal with that and what is our responsibility to mitigate what's going on and address the violence in our community?
Well, the good thing that about how you laid out, you gave people a great history lesson that this young generation is so disconnected from. One of the most important parts about that incident with our sister is that if we cannot change, and we will not change them, it is our actions that bring them in our community with that racist mindset, because they do not see the Black community as customers. They don't see us as the good guys or the client. They see us as the bad guy. They have an old Western mentality. The good guys wear white, the bad guys wear black.
Right.
This officer, in part of his training, because the understanding was, could he have shot and wounded her?
Right.
Did he have to shoot her 4 times? Could he use his taser?
Right.
These are the questions that the people are asking now. But when you take a look at and understand their training, they are trained to shoot at a half body silhouette.
Right.
Head, midsection. They have a target on that black silhouette that's on a white piece of paper, and they show every part of the target. There's a kill spot. It's called center mass. You'll get points for how accurate you hit that center mass. That's how you get moved up a level in your training with a weapon.
Right.
Now imagine you young, you're in the academy, and they put this black silhouette in front of you. And even though we understand subliminal seduction, the black silhouette has no face.
Right.
The black silhouette is not human.
Right.
But when I come into the Black community and I'm chasing somebody or I confront somebody, I'm not looking in that person's face and see that's a human being. I'm looking at a target that I was taught and trained to shoot at. Now, it's the key. So when they say, how come you did not wound them? The officer would say, we're not taught that. We don't get points for wounding. I move up in the range and I move up in popularity of my shooting skills by my ability to kill and to shoot center mass. I don't get no point for wounding.
Right.
If they were to change that methodology, and they may change it, I would suggest, since they're going to put a black silhouette, they should have a white silhouette and a black background.
Yeah, yeah.
And they should make a full body silhouette with the legs, and they should put X's on non-lethal spots.
Yeah. Well, you know, Brother Cap, you know, to that point you're making, it seems like they don't have a problem not shooting white victims. You know, we have Kyle Rittenhouse in Kenosha, Wisconsin. This white boy, he went down there. He had an AR-15 assault rifle. He just shot up the crowd, killed 2 people. He's walking down the street with this assault weapon in his hands, walking toward the police officers. And they managed to arrest him without incident. They didn't shoot him. They didn't kill him. We can look on YouTube and find all type of videos where you have white boys assaulting police officers, some with knives in their hand. I seen this one. This white boy had a knife in his hand, and he's going after the cop, and the cop is backing up. Then he pulls out the taser and tries to tase him. The white boy rips the joints off of him, and he's still chasing the cop. The cop is running. He never, not one time, reached for his gun. And then the suspect, he jumped in the police car and drove off. So law enforcement has shown the ability to have restraint and not use deadly force when the perpetrator is white. But
That's
the
right.
problem is that they do not see the humanity in black people. They jump out that car ready to kill.
Well, let me say this, and you got me excited because it leads me to a very important part. They don't see the humanity in black people because black people don't see the humanity in each other.
Come on now.
We don't want to talk about that part.
Right.
It's so easy to talk about them and not talk about us. I don't give a damn about them.
Come on now.
But I do care about us.
Yes.
It ain't them versus us. It's us versus us.
That's right.
If I go around talking about Black Lives Matter, and there's an increase of black on black violence, then any civilized human being, be white, black, brown, or yellow, can say, well, I thought y'all said Black Lives Matter. We do, brother. Yes, sir. Black lives do matter. Well, evidently, it don't matter to y'all.
Right.
Now, then they come up with Blue Lives Matter. We could say to them, brother minister, didn't y'all say Blue Lives Matter? Did not on January the 6th, y'all white people storm the Capitol?
Come on.
And did not some of you white people kill some blue officers in blue?
Right. Right. That's right.
And you say Blue Lives Matter, and y'all took some blue lives.
Yeah, they
So
don't
evidently
really...
it don't matter to y'all.
No.
So it don't matter to us. It don't matter to us. So neither one is preaching what we practice, what we preach. Now let me add on this point. When I talk about they don't see our value, it's because their attitude is when they joined the police department. This is when I wanted to say, I asked the white female coming out the academy. I already know answer. I asked them just to, to do my study, to verify my study. I said, why most police officers join the police department? Most of them would say, to make the street safe and get the bad guy. Most of them. But she said, because they want to help people. I joined the police department so I can help people. I said, well, you should have joined the Peace Corps.
Come on.
I said, because how long will you keep that attitude when you go into the black community and they reject your help.
Mm.
How long would you want to help people when the people that you want to help would spit on you and call you a white bee? Huh? How long would you want to help us when we call you cracker ass white woman? Get your devil butt out. How long will that last that you want to help people and they put you in the black community to help a community that don't want your help?
Right.
She looks shocked. See, don't give us that old crap. The reason why y'all joined the department is, yes, you want to get rid of the bad guy. But if I ask you to take a crayon and draw me the picture of the bad guy, in your mind, the bad guy is us.
It's us.
You won't say that.
That's right.
Because our community give you an opportunity to pull your gun. Our community get an opportunity to turn on your lights. Our community get an opportunity to tase somebody, to shoot somebody. Hey, it even give you an opportunity to kill somebody. The white suburbs don't give you that opportunity.
Right.
You don't join the department and sit up in the white suburbs. You want action. And you join the department because we give you action. You love coming in our community. You love to be that tackleberry.
Right.
Let's keep it 100.
That's right.
Or we say today, let's keep it Messiah.
Keep it Messiah.
So we know why you come in our community. We're not stupid. But let me say this to you, brother minister. We give them that opportunity.
Yes, sir.
Now look at, wait a minute, let me say this, and I got to get this off my chest.
Go ahead.
DMX, we buried him and we gave him a star of glory. Everybody know DMX had a drug problem. That ain't probably what killed him, as they say, but everybody know he struggled with that demon. We can say Vince got the best of him. We lost Prince to what? Drug overdose. We lost Michael Jackson to what? Drugs. But we never say, let's deal with drug dealers because somebody was selling DMX crack. Oh, we don't want to talk about that part? We don't want to talk about the dope dealer?
Come on.
We want to talk about all of the people that's on crack and die of it, but we never talk about the dope dealer? We never talk about how to get them the hell out of our community. You can go in any rich part of white people's community.
Now.
You'll never see a drug dealer.
Come on, talk that talk.
How come, brother? We don't want to talk about drug abuse. There won't be easy accessibility if we didn't have drug dealers. If we had to have the blacks go into the white neighborhood, I bet you that would be overnight. But we don't say nothing about that. You know why, brother minister?
Come on.
Because the drug dealer is my cousin. The drug dealer is my uncle. The drug dealer is my son. The drug dealer is my nephew. Huh? The drug dealer may be me.
Wow.
No, we don't want to talk about that.
Yes, sir.
The drug dealer in the black community. That's sacred. See? We don't want to talk about that the girl was beefing, man. And we always pull out our camera with that world star.
Right.
Take us killing and fighting one another as entertainment. We go on and watch ghetto fights. That's entertainment. You ain't seen it. Watch this one. This was in Houston, Texas. How can you look at a people whose behavior is so self-destructive and we don't talk about it?
Come on now. That brings me to as we wind down, Brother Cap, because I appreciate your time, and I think you said you have another meeting later on. Plus, we know it's Ramadan and that sun is going down. So I do want to wrap this up, but I want to wrap it up talking about the training that you provide, and also putting a call out, because tomorrow evening here in Boston we're going to be going out for the Hour of Power. We're meeting up in front of Muhammad Mosque, number 11 at 10 Washington Street, and we're going to go out to practice what we're talking about. You know, it's not enough, man, for us to just be angry about the violence or complain about the condition of our people. The question is, what are you doing about it? We're giving you an avenue that you can do something to try to mitigate what's going on in our community. You put together some beautiful trainings, Brother Captain, that you trained us in. You gave us first of all, love thyself. And I'm, as I said, we winding down, but I do want you to speak just a little bit on the importance of these things, and knowing that we have been trained in that, and also encouraging our future peacemakers, right, to come on and get this training, because we need it to go into our communities, to be saviors, to be peacemakers in our communities. So you gave us love thyself training. You gave us the proper handling of people training. You gave us conflict mediation training. And then we went on and we took first aid and CPR. So talk a little bit about the importance, and we did self-defense training as well. But talk about the importance of these trainings that we have to take in order to go into our community to do this work.
Well, what we have designed as training is a prelude of training the citizens, our people, to eventually patrol their own community.
Come on now.
When I gave this training 15 years ago, it was preparing the citizens, our people. I knew this day was going to come.
Yes.
To prepare us to know how to police our own community. Who wants police officers in your community that didn't go through the academy? And who wants people patrolling their neighborhood who ain't got no training?
Come on now.
So we came up with 6 components.
Go ahead.
It was very key that we give love thyself training. I designed that purposely and created that curriculum. Why? Because the minister made a point. We cannot send you into a community where our people hate themselves and you got hate in your heart.
Right.
So I decided to come up with a love thyself training. That's awesome. Then we got nonviolent crisis intervention training. Now remember, I said the police got CIT, crisis intervention training. We got nonviolent crisis intervention training. Theirs is a little different from ours.
Right.
All right? Because theirs is violent, ours is non-violent. Then after that, we give the proper handling of people, which is the hallmark of why we in the Nation of Islam has been so successful in winning over our people, right?
Yes, sir.
Then we give conflict resolution, teaching our people how to resolve beef. If those sisters would have had sit down with this, if the adults would have took Sister McClea, Brian, and say, listen, sister, let's resolve it. We can resolve this. She may be alive today if we wasn't trying to see them beef. Instead of seeing them beef, try to squash their beef. We didn't use conflict resolution. And how many black people that you know out there that's killing each other? These are revenge killings, man. You kill my dog, I kill your cat. You kill my brother, I'm gonna get you at that. You see? That's the attitude.
Right.
So then we give you the 8 barriers of communication. After the 8 barriers of communication, then of course we give you self-defense training. I mean, CPR, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting about CPR, 8 barriers of communication, and self-defense.
Yes,
CPR, we have to teach you life-saving skills training. Very important.
Right.
We have said it's better to know it and never have to use it than have to use it. The guy that went to try to open up he did not know how to perform CPR. Most police officers don't know CPR.
Wow.
They're now making it mandatory. We also, Peacekeepers also have the Narcan. We got Narcan when we walk the street. You OD, we're going to hit you. You're going to sit straight up.
Yes, sir.
And then we got to give you some self-defense because we can't send you out there and you don't know how to defend yourself. Now, let me tell you about this self-defense training. We're not teaching you how to, no kicks. We ain't trying to teach you how to kick. All we teaching the peacekeepers and the peacemakers is how to get out of a chicken wing and how to put somebody in a chicken wing. That's basically it. All right?
Yes,
you
sir.
know, every man need to know how to fight. You swear to God you know how to fight, but you ain't turning none down.
That's right.
Now, all the nation, all of us know the arts. All right?
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm glad I know the arts, but I'm overweight and I can give you 2 good strong minutes.
Don't tell them, bro, Cap. Don't tell them.
See, and see, but that's if I didn't know the arts.
Yeah, that's right.
So, but because I know the arts, we quick, fast, in a hurry.
Come on now.
That's the end of that, and we moving on about our business. Because
That's
I've been
right.
trained how to get to the point early in the game. All right?
Yes, sir.
So we teach our people the same. Now, I had a situation where, man, when we was teaching our sisters here in Columbus, and the man called me and said, "Hey, man, what y'all teaching my woman down there? Somebody need to come over here and untie me, man. What y'all doing?" Our sisters get the training, boys. They go home and put it on them knucklehead brothers, man.
Hey, bro, Cap, all praises due to Allah, man, that you came and gave us that training. And I'm happy to say that we were able to keep a core of brothers that went through, and we was able to graduate, here in Boston, 30, right, certified, trained, card-carrying members of the 10,000 Fearless Peacemakers. And so we went under that training. And when you see us out there in the community, know that you see them orange shirts, those are brothers that have been trained to go into the community with love and know how to engage in conflict mediation, know all of these trainings that Brother Captain just laid out for us. And we want to invite those of you that are not yet part of the peace or the 10,000 Fearless Peacemakers, come on out tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. and join us for the hour of power, where we can go out there and promote peace and promote this culture of peace in our community. We can make a difference. Don't say we can't. Look, the Million Man March showed that we can make a difference.
Yes, sir.
Because if you remember in 94, 93, 94, 95, the violence, and don't take my word for it, go check the statistics. The murder rates were off the chain. But after the Million Man March, all over the country, the violence, the murder among young people dropped. And the numbers dropped, and they stayed down for like 10 years. And I don't even think they still back to the numbers of what they was prior to the Million Man March. And so that was directly a result of the men that went to the Million Man March and took the commitment to go back to their communities and to work in their communities. And so I'm saying that we did it one time and we can do it again. So we don't have to sit around being apathetic like there's nothing that we can do. Let's show up and let's take the responsibility, as you taught us, Brother Cap. It's the police officer's job, but black man, it's our responsibility. That's our God-given responsibility. God teaches us in the scriptures that the men ought to be the maintainers and the protectors of our women and children. So we can't abdicate our responsibility to the police. They got a job to do, but we have a responsibility, black man. Let's get up, let's stand up, and let's go out there and do something for ourselves. And the last point that I want you to touch on, Brother Cap, and then we can close. You was talking to me about this particular initiative with these billboards. You want to say something on that, my brother?
Oh, yes, man. Listen, we have kicked off yesterday a national initiative under the Peacekeepers, where I've asked every peacekeeper in 32 cities we in to invest in getting billboards, whether they raise money to buy billboards, whether they get the city to give them billboards, or whether they get celebrities to purchase billboards. We want to put in every community, especially the black community, billboards that we got the artwork. We did the first one in New Orleans. Minister Willie did the first one about 10 years ago in New Orleans. It went big, but we didn't maintain it. But it shows two brothers coming at each other with the gun, and there's a brother standing between them as a peacekeeper and a peacemaker, and the words that go across: squash the beef before the grief. Call for beef mediation, this hotline number. And if you're driving down the street and you see these billboards, and you're thinking about your little crazy nephew got a beef with the dudes on the other side of the street, you say, you know what, man, let me call this man and see I can get a mediator to settle the beef. Every man want to out in the fight. We want y'all to get the lead in Boston, brother minister.
Yes,
and
sir.
get the community to buy billboards. They got the digital bill. We'll give you the artwork. And if you
Yes,
get
sir.
your first billboard, hold a press conference. Let everybody see that we got to start mediating these beef with our young people and even mediate some beef among ourselves. We have to get into what the minister asked us to do to present to our people conflict resolution. And guess who's going to come in and give you your big mediation trade? Minister Willie, who is the best at that.
Come
So
on
he
now.
trained the team. We're doing this all around the country. I'm excited about it because that's
Yes,
something we
sir.
can do. I
Yes,
can
sir.
get these politicians. I can get some of these celebrities. I got a couple of celebrities. Russell going to buy a bill. I mean, that's easy.
That's
But the
easy.
point of it is you driving down, and we want them on the back of the bus. So if the bus drive away, we're going to have them brothers squash the beef before the grief on the bus stands. We
Yes,
have
sir.
to begin to start promoting. Squash the beef before the grief. That's
Yes,
what we
sir.
got to do. And we can
Yes, sir.
reduce maybe some of the crime and violence of the black on black violence, because a lot of that is revenge killings. But if we
Right.
can get to them, brother, and we can get them to the table of beef mediation, and if we can resolve that beef, we have possibly saved somebody's life.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
Well, thank
I'm
you, my brother.
excited about it, and
Yes.
that's what we doing, dear brother.
Thank you, my brother Cap. Thank you, brother Cap. Dennis, listen, so to our listening audience, that's an initiative that Brother Captain has given us, and it's a great idea, and we're gonna move out on that. We're gonna go and get us some billboards, and we already have a Stop the Beef hotline. We're working on. We had a little glitch with our phone number, and we working that kink out. But we already have a group of trained conflict media in Cap. We actually engaged in at least 4 mediations.
Go ahead, brother.
That were deadly. Like there was some murder in the air, and by the grace of Almighty God Allah, they reached out to the peacemakers, and we were able to sit down and bring brothers that was ready to kill each other, and we resolved that conflict, and they left shaking hands. And sometimes that's all it takes is a third party,
Right.
a neutral party, right. A mediator, someone that can sit and be an arbitrator and just listen and allow them to speak, and help them with what they can't see and show them the bigger picture. And so we was blessed, Bro Cap, to engage in 4 successful mediations, utilizing the training that you gave us in the training from Brother Student Minister Willie. Well, big salute to our brother with the leading the charge with the mediation. We thank Allah for him. And so, Brother Cap, thank you for coming on this evening.
But thank you, Brother Minister.
Yes, sir. They don't see more of you. Yes.
I would encourage everybody that hears this from Boston to make a donation to the Peacemakers and utilize them funds to help to purchase billboards. So every billboard that go up, you can smile and say, I helped put that billboard up.
Right.
And that gets everybody engaged. Everybody could do something.
That's right. That's right. Help us out in this initiative so that we can put those billboards, and let's get busy, because look, we've been in a global pandemic. People have been cooped up in the houses, but they got spring fever, and we know what happens. So, it's bound to be a hot summer. So we got to get in front of it. So, Brother Captain, thank you to our listening audience. Thank you for listening. And again, we don't want to just talk about it. Let's be about it. We have a lot of work to do. Our people are looking for us. So hopefully I'm looking forward to seeing you in the battlefield. Come and meet us tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. at 10 Washington Street in Grove Hall, so that we can get out there and promote peace in our community. Brother Captain Dennis, thank you. Thank you. Love you, my brother. May Allah bless you. Ramadan Mubarak. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, Brother Minister. Thank you, sir.
All right. Yes, sir.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness. I bear witness. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness I bear witness in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. I bear witness. I bear witness. I bear witness